It's coffee time, folks. What's up with y'all tonight? It's me, Mom, here on Coffee Time with John and Momma. And we're making homemade vegetable soup and some homemade cornbread, but we're making it different than you've ever seen us make it before because we're going to make it in a special little pan that's got the individual cornbread in a cast iron skillet, but it has the little individual cornbread slices to get more crunch. It's kind of like the equivalent of a muffin. If you don't have one of these, use a muffin tin. If you don't have a muffin tin, use a skillet or a Pyrex dish. Just make you some cornbread with your soup. It's all good. All right, Mama.
Yeah.
Let's get. What are we doing? I'm doing my chores here on my chore board.
I've got the onions. I've got a potato and the carrots.
Okay. And that's a little bit of cabbage.
I'm gonna wash it off for you.
Thank you, Mama. So what are y'all up to today? It's still the same kind of overcast little bit out there, but we've had some sunshine today. And we did have a beautiful fall day. And it is fall, and we're glad. Y'all see what I'm doing here? This is a sweet Vidalia onion going right in our soup. Don't have to make it terribly small, but I do want it, bite-sized. It'll offer a lot of flavor. So Mama's got over here in the kettle, not hardly a pound, not even a little over a half a pound actually, of beef tips. And she put those in there with 16 ounces of coffee, which was 2 cups of coffee that I had left over from my last brewing. And 2 bouillon cubes. And then when the coffee kind of started going away, she put 2 cups of water in there. And those were beef bouillon cubes. And the beef, and the stew beef. And that's all it is. So ours is vegetable beef soup today. You can leave the beef out and just have plain old homemade vegetable soup. Look at this. Look at these beauties here. These are from September 2020. Beautiful, bright red tomatoes. Mama and I canned those last year. Mama might have canned those by herself. I canned with her once, but she canned about 5 or 6 times. Tomatoes are a wonderful little thing to can. You can can 1 quart, 2 quarts, 3 quarts, whatever you have. If you have a few tomatoes, grab them and can them. What's the least amount of tomatoes you ever can, Mama?
Oh, like 2.5 quarts.
2.5 quarts.
2
quarts in the pot. But you can can as many as you have that way. So you don't have to wait. Now with green beans and stuff like that, you have to wait till you get it canned. You can't.
And I do put a empty jar. Fill a jar of water sometimes.
Yeah, for green beans. Tomatoes are probably one of the easier things to can if you're wanting to get into canning, preserving. They don't require a pressure cooker, and they don't need, you don't have to water bath them, do you, Mama?
They recommend them now, but I don't always do that. I never did do it.
Can you hear Mama?
I never did do it before. I just can them, get my jars hot, my lids hot, my tomatoes, and they usually seal real good.
Mama says they do recommend it now. Is that what you're saying?
It's something about the acidity in the tomatoes, acid part.
You can't hear her, but she said it was something to do with the acidity in the tomatoes.
The acid part.
That they say to water bath them. So you can water bath them, or you cannot. I don't believe I ever seen Mama really water bath them. So this is onions. Now when we talk about canning and stuff, just know we're not professionals and we're not from the Ball Canning Company. We're just doing things the way we do them. This is just a little bit of cabbage. We don't always put cabbage in our vegetable soup. Sometimes we make beef cabbage soup. But we had it, so it's going in. This is kind of like a garden vegetable. Whatever we had in the garden, whatever was left over, whatever's been in the refrigerator a spell, it's going into this soup tonight.
Y'all may put the onions in and get it started.
If you want to. That'd be wonderful. You want this cabbage?
I'll get it.
You want to put your onions in, you want to get your carrots in there pretty quick, and you want to get them to cook it. And we want to get our cornbread to cook it. Now I'm a little nervous about tonight's cornbread. I normally worry nothing about cornbread sticking in this household because our cornbread skillets are tried and true through the age-long process of cooking for the Davises. And so I never worry about it. But tonight we're using a brand new skillet. Now I have got a smaller one that's got the divides in it, and it's a little thinner, I think. But this isn't one that I got, I think, at an estate sale, and it hadn't been seasoned. So I had put it in the, Mama made some biscuits this morning, and I put it in the Easy Bake this morning with some bacon grease in it. When you're seasoning, you want to use fat. You want to use protein fat. You don't want to use vegetable oil to season. Some of y'all may have a different opinion on that, and that's fine. I'm just telling you what we do. We use some kind of protein. Pork chops work, bacon works, pork renderings of some kind. And so that's what I put in there today, and I've had it in there. After she got the biscuits out, I left it in there, and then I turned it on for about 20 more minutes, and then when I ate lunch, I turned it on for a little while then, let it cool back down, and I've had it on now for about 20 minutes. And we're going to consider it seasoned, and then we're going to put a little oil in each section. We'll show you that. I've used a skillet like this before, but this is the first time on this one, so it may stick and turn out awful. But that's just a part of the keeping it real here. We don't, we didn't bake its magic poem before. Sometimes we'll do that, but not this time. And we're going to stir him up right now, get some buttermilk out. That's all we like. This is carrots, by the way. Good old whole carrots that I did peel them. If they had been wonderful, I wouldn't have peeled them maybe, but they weren't wonderful. They needed peeled. So that's the carrots that's going in there. Mama, there's your carrots whenever you get ready to drop that. And also we're going to use a can of Veg All Home Style. I know this is canned, and I know this ain't all homemade, but it's got a little bit of celery, a little bit of peas, a little bit of flavors that we want, but I don't want a lot of celery. We don't ever, well, we have, but we don't normally add stock celery in ours. Do you? Do you ever?
No.
We have in the past used V8 juice to start soup, but I don't care for a lot of celery in it. I know, I like celery, love celery, raw. Love celery in dressing, but sometimes in soup it tends to overpower. And V8 juice tends to be one of those times when we use it that it does seem to overpower a little bit. Doesn't it, Mama?
Yeah.
These are cooked, so these don't have to go in early, but I'm going to go ahead and get this in there. This is the home style, and what's the difference is this. These have got bigger pieces of vegetables, and the carrots and everything is a little bit bigger. Can y'all see that? So it is a lot like you just chopped it up for home style. So Mama will drain that out, drop that in. But I'm also going to put one of these big potatoes in there. There will be some home potatoes in there. The only thing about the canned vegetable is they are already cooked, and they do get softened for day 2. If you're going to have this tomorrow, those potatoes in there will be quite soft. Just wanted to cut these up. You can cut them up any size you want to. Just try to get all your root vegetables the same size, so they'll cook evenly. You won't have one or two that's raw and one or two that's smushed. And so just try to keep them all the same diameter. This is a big potato. Look at all this potato this is making.
I just picked one.
Mama said one potato would be enough, and I thought, well, she's been awful stingy with them taters. But I see now what she's talking about.
No, I mashed 2 of those, and it was way too much.
Yeah, this is a bunch of potatoes. Look at that, folks. That's one big old potato. Plenty of potatoes for soup. So I'm just going to do a rough chop home style. Maybe that would be a good cutting terminology. Home style cut. That's what that veg aisle says. Home style. Veg aisle's a name brand here. I don't know. It's just canned vegetables, like for soup or anything. You find it in chicken pot pie a lot of times. You'll find it in other dishes a lot of times. But that is a standard. Sometimes we don't use it, but I didn't want to do celery, but I did want a little bit of taste in there, but not overpowering. You certainly can do all homemade. Now look at a pile of taters. Woo, and John just split the family up there and took half of them on the counter.
And fell through the hole.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
That's a pile of taters. And this is going to be a pile of tomatoes. We went to the Riverside Produce, got us a box of tomatoes. Because, you know, you've heard me gripe many times this year that we just didn't have any tomatoes. So we're going to try to can a few of these, eat a few more of them, but these are garden ripe tomatoes. That's one good thing about living in the country. If you don't have it, you can buy it. Growing it just keeps you from having to buy it. But thank the Lord we're blessed with the opportunities to buy it. So thankful. And they're still out there. If you're in the notion for some, tomatoes are still a possibility for you. Mama left a little peel on there. Mama, that's not like you.
Missed it.
That's not like you to miss a peel. That's more like me.
I think I need my glasses changed already.
Well, Mama, there you is needing them so bad. Your eyes said, "Oh, finally some relief," and they've just sort of relaxed a little bit. I think that every time I get glasses, is it already done? Because I can't see that good with these. But then I get used to them and kind of readapt. This is just big chunks of tomatoes. So what are y'all up to today? What are y'all cooking tonight? Smart Pop, something I see. Yeah, I mean, homemade is the best. It is. Homemade soup, you can get decent canned soups for lunch, but if you want the good hearty, look at that one. Those was one and a little bit of tomato, and that's a huge amount. Now we're going to put that cornbread to good use. I'm kind of anxious to see what it does, kind of worried about it at the same time, because I've never used this pan before. And you cooks out there know that sometimes the pan makes or breaks the dish. And I'm afraid this one might stick because it's just been seasoned a few times here. The best way to season an iron skillet or iron bread pan is just use it. Just use it. Keep using it. And that will seal it a little bit better than anything.
Up, sir?
Ma'am, I've cut everything you've handed me. Do you have anything else for me to cut?
No, I think you've done a good job.
Do you have anything in the refrigerator you want to get rid of? There's a few jalapenos in there, Mama.
No, thank you.
She says, nah, we won't go that. I made beef stew. We love beef stew too. I love just some big old chunks of beef with carrots and onions and potatoes. And those are delicious. We do use all homemade on those. Tony Davis, how are you? Hey, Carol, how are you? Made hamburger soup. Now, I love hamburger soup too. Hello from Florence, South Carolina. Been to Florence many, many times, Diane. Turnip greens and chicken tenders. Cornbread and onions and sweet tea. Oh, yes. Carolyn, I love vegetable soup too. And I don't care to eat it for 2 or 3 days at all. Mama, you going to start the cornbread or you want me to?
You can start it. If you'll open up those tomatoes.
Yes, ma'am. Opening these delicious homegrown tomatoes. I'm proud to open up some tomatoes, Mama. I'm going to have that other thing, I guess, because that ain't made for that.
I'll get that off. It's just a ring.
Okay. Those are good. You going to do the cornbread?
Oh, you go ahead and do it. It's your night to cook.
My night to cook?
Yeah.
All right. Mama's want me to do the cornbread.
Got the egg and everything. Meal.
Cornmeal, flour, egg, and this little bit of buttermilk.
Do I need to get another?
You can just put a little water in this probably, Mama. I'm going to stir it up and see what I got here. And the skillet is definitely done because it's been in there now 30 minutes. So he is ready to roll. Well, that egg don't want to... You ever have them egg yolks that don't want to burst?
Some of them are best before you can get them.
I know.
Oh,
Some of them don't play fair. This is a small amount, but this pan won't hold as much because of
shake that up good.
the dividers in it. And you won't just be able to pour it in there. I'm going to make it a little thinner because I want to be able to pour it in there. Because it'd be a minute to spoon it in. I don't know, I may have to spoon it in anyway. Alright, let's get our pan and we will commence to dabbing. That's mixed up really good. Let me go over here and get the pan. It's hot. It's hot.
I know it's hot.
I mean, really hot.
Really hot. You think you baked it till it's hot?
I've seasoned it.
Woo, it's a smoking.
It's smoking hot. I told you it's hot. So we're going to put him right here, front and center. Now these little pans are, they'll make your cornbread a little different.
Do I need to pour out some of that?
No, I think we're good.
You think it'll be hot?
It's hot.
You better get to pouring's all I can say.
These are
Do not
the little
touch.
dividers in here. You do not want to touch, and I don't know how much to pour, but I guarantee it's going to sizzle.
Just don't touch my bowl against that hot skillet.
What on earth is the purpose of this? Because you can cut it a lot quicker and easier than you can do this. Well, this is sort of like a muffin tin. This will make those edges really good and brown, and you'll have every piece of cornbread will be an edge. I was talking to my friend yesterday at work, and she mentioned something about making cornbread tonight in one of these, and I said, it's been a while since I've used mine. And I thought, So the more I thought about it, that good crunchy cornbread. Mom, if you got another little iron skillet, I've got a little bit left here. The more I thought about it, the more I decided I'm going to have to have me some crunchy cornbread. And I'm just going to pat these down just like this. Get up in that little... Come on now, don't try to be hard to get along with. That one's got a little bit too much in it. Wonder what that'll bring us.
A big fat piece of cornbread.
Probably a mess in the oven. We'll find out. Sometimes cornbread will rise up and cook and don't make a mess for you. Okay, I'm going to reset this, Mama, since it's in these little things for 20 minutes. On 375. There we go.
You're off, huh?
There it is. There's your pot holder. Alright, so we're cooking now. We'll see what we end up with. Hopefully, beautiful little corn.
It's just water in there, ain't it?
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully, beautiful little cornbread triangles that'll be crispy all over. Mama, what'd you decide about this extra meal?
I've got a skillet to get hot.
Oh, she's gonna fix that. We're gonna make a really thin cornbread, and she loves thin cornbread. This will be thin. She's done on top of the stove. You can do that if you're in a hurry. Say you forget to put your cornbread skillet in the oven. Just stick it on the top and let it get hot. We do that. I think everybody's done that before. And some people I've seen, they don't even want it hot. We do. Now, the good thing about soup and cornbread, once you get it on, there ain't much left to do. Soup's going to simmer, cornbread's going to bake, and we can chat. So, happy birthday, Nancy. Nancy, happy birthday. Whoever Nancy is out there, I didn't see it, but I seen somebody wishing her. So, Nancy, happy birthday to you. Hope it's the best one yet. My wonderful future daughter-in-law made pasta, fig, I don't know what that is. Fig O-L-E? Am I missing that? I hope you know how you spell it. I never had it before. It's delicious. Well, I'll try to look that up. Fig O-L-E. We'll try that. Hello, Gina. How are you? Nancy Towney, happy birthday. Well, Nancy Towney, happy birthday to you. Hello from Mississippi. Rebecca, how's things in Mississippi? I've got y'all froze up. I touched it and it's froze. Are we rolling? Rolling. Okay. Hi, John and Momma. John, that looks good already. It does, John. Cornbread, there ain't nothing wrong with cornbread. We don't eat it much anymore. We used to eat it once or twice a week, but we really have cut way back on cornbread. What meat do you use? This is called beef tips. Sometimes you'll see it called stew beef. Sometimes we'll just buy a piece of meat that's on sale and chop it up ourselves. So it's all beef. Is that ready, Mama?
Okay. Put your bread in
Let's
here.
put our little bit of leftover right in here. Make us just a little thin cone. Mama, how you gonna bake this?
I'm going to fix it on top of the stove.
On top of the stove. You already have cornbread on top of the stove? Mama's fixing to fix it right here.
Scrape every bit off of the edges. Get every pie.
It's there, Mama. That'll be a wonderful little thin pound of cornbread, and that one won't stick. We'll know. Huh?
Hopefully it won't stick. I ain't used it for cornbread
We'll know. Well, hopefully, she says she hadn't used that for cornbread
in a long
time. We've got different sizes of cornbread skillets. Have you noticed? It's probably a bad thing. Did you see? Oh, yes. What a legend Loretta Lynn is. And just, she did pass today. Our prayers go out to that family. Loretta has brought so much to us. She's a wonderful country music singer. Mama's always related to Loretta Lynn because Mama's a coal miner's daughter too. Our hearts go out to that family and what a legacy she has left, and we will certainly be thinking of them. It's heartbreaking. John is probably pasta fagioli. Oh, okay. Janice, I'll look that up and see if I can make that. I think she means FH. Okay, so I'll look that up and see how the pronunciation is and how it's made. I really enjoy your videos. Well, thank you, Gina. We really enjoy having y'all here. I do want to, I say this all the time, and I hate to have to keep pounding on it. There are several duplicate pages out there, and if it says join, then it's not us. If it says fans, it's not us. There are several of them out there with different things. And what they do is they just come on here and they steal our video and they share it to their page, and then they just keep playing it. And then they act like that it's them, that it's us. And there's nothing Facebook really will do about it. I don't know if they can. I don't know this whole story behind all of it. But I just know it's not us. We're not a part of it. We're not promoting it. We didn't give them permission to use our stuff. If you want a page, that's great. Use your own content, though. Don't steal from other people's content. I've heard Miss Brenda Gant say the same thing. I've heard Mama Sue. Mama keeps dropping her diamond ring over here.
I wished it was a diamond.
How many diamond rings are you wearing tonight, Mama?
I ain't wearing none. Let's see.
I don't think that's going to fit on there.
It's not fitting right.
Use a plate. When in doubt, use a plate. I've heard Miss Brenda Gant, Miss Mama Sue had the same issues. Kimmy, Missy, I've heard a lot of them having the same things at Cook's. And it's just the way the world is today, folks. If you go to our page, look under the transparency. We've been here for over 2 years. We have over 140-some thousand viewers, and it's growing, and we thank you all for that. We're thankful for each and every one of you. But just know that, and if I say this is the right page, then they'll put this video on theirs, and you'll think you're on the right page. You can't. Oh, the struggle is real, folks. Just go to the page, look at the transparency, see how old that page is. If that page is a week old, a month old, 3 months old, and there's several on there. I mean, I went and looked at the numbers. There's several that are on there. So don't like those, don't join those. Just get off those, and you can follow us. Go to our page, hit follow, and it should help you with notifications. The more you comment, the more it puts it on your algorithm to show our videos. Some people say, where have y'all been? I haven't seen you in ever. We're here every day unless we're sick or really, really tied up with something. And so if you don't see us about this time every evening, then you're not following us, or you're not getting the notifications. So usually around 6:30 to 7, somewhere in here, 7:30. Sometimes it's later. We don't really give a posted time, what time we post, but that's about the times. But anyway, Mama Tootsie's cornbread, preheat oven to 350. That's Enola putting that on there, and that's what we have it on today. I'm gonna knock on wood here. I'm not gonna say, but this cornbread over here looks like it's rising. I sure hope this skillet is going to be seasoned, because sometimes I like muffins, cornbread muffins, but I like the thinner better, that's all crunchy, than I do the thick muffin. And you can just use a plain old pan, but with soup, the triangles, or I don't even know what this pan's really called. I should probably know better. But that's what it is. Mama, how's the soup looking?
Well, I'm going to check the potatoes that's in here.
They've not cooked yet.
They've not had time to cook, but I'm going to see what degree they've cooked.
Is it looking pretty?
Yeah, it's looking like soup. Does that count for anything?
Let's go over to the stove now. I know this little movement, and I'll try not to move y'all too much, okay? So what we're going to do, this works out best. I'm going to slide you around here. I'm going to flip you all right here, and that way there's not all that movement. So, no, Mama, I'm trying not to move too much on them. I know they don't like that. Try to be respectful of that. We don't want to make nobody sick. But that's the soup, folks. Look at that.
I ain't got this can in there yet.
She's not put the veg oil. If you are going to use veg oil, any kind, do put it in last, because those are cooked, and you want to let your others catch up to them so they won't have some mushy ones.
Well, I can't keep that potato on there. Did you see it fall off everything?
I see, Mama. They ain't done.
They ain't done.
Now, if you're looking for stovetop cornbread, right here is what it is. Mama finally found a lid that works.
That would stay on the skillet.
Well, look at there. That Tupperware lid fits on that iron skillet. Now, we know this ain't hot because it is Tupperware. We can touch it. See how that's just baking up around the edges? What she's done is she's created a little Dutch oven. Look, she put her finger in it.
And it's hot.
And it's hot, she said. So you can do cornbread or biscuit bread on the stove. Mama does biscuits on top. When we go camping, well, we used to do that.
We used to do that years ago.
And then we had a camper. Dad wanted a camper, so we had a I don't know what you call it. It was wasn't a Dutch boy, Mama. A Dutchman tag along. I guess you went behind the truck. We camped in it for a long time. We loved to camp, but it got harder to set up and tear down, and they changed some rules at the campsite we love, and we would go to Indian Mountain most of the time, and We finally sold our camper, but we don't have a camper no more. But we used to love to camp. Dad got to he had a kind of a panic attack in there one night, and he had to get out of the camper. And after that, he didn't want to camp. I don't know really what happened. That's the way it was. But anyway, that was back in the day. But we did do a lot of camping, cooking. Now the Dutchman had a gas range, an oven, and everything in it. But Mama never did like to cook in it except for breakfast. She would always go outside and cook, so we'd have biscuits.
That's part of camping is cooking outside.
That's right. I like to get up early. I get up at 4:30, go out and build the fire, make coffee on the fire, and sit there and drink coffee and watch the geese and the ducks and the wildlife. That sure does smell good, and that cornbread's browning up good. It says it lacks 8 more minutes, but we may need to check him because those little pones might bake a lot quicker than I thought. Do you think it will, Mama? You can't hardly tell by looking through the oven door. It looks browner than maybe it is. I don't know. I would love to have one of those skillets. Judy, I tell you, you can order them new. I think Amazon, maybe Heaven Lodge, I think has one. But I looked up on this one at an estate sale, or like at a Goodwill, or Shepherd's Home. There's a place near here called the Shepherd's Home where they sell used stuff. But a lot of times it comes from an estate, and you can find your best. You can find your best cast iron at an estate sale because usually it's seasoned and it's wonderful. But this one was at a second-hand place, but it was a new one. You could tell they hadn't used it much. Probably somebody like Mama. Probably somebody bought their mama that weird cornbread skillet, and she probably said, I ain't fooling with this foolishness. I'm just going to dump it in an iron skillet and make a pound of cornbread. Now, you can fool with this if you want to. Ain't that right, Mama?
That's right.
When I brought this one home, Mama said...
Muffin tins. I don't like those.
She don't like muffin tins for cornbread either.
Muffin tins, I don't use them unless they have to be for muffins and stuff, you see. Because you got to get in each little old...
Come over here, Mama.
You got to get in each little old hole to wash and clean.
When I brought this one home, I said, look here, Mama, I bought us a new cornbread skillet. And she said, we don't need another cornbread skillet. And when I showed her that one, she said, now you might use that thing, but now I'm not fooling with all that washing of that thing. I said, Mama, this will make good crunchy cornbread like you like. So, Mama, do you see the...
I see the camera now. I wasn't looking in it.
It's their first night videoing, folks.
Yeah, my first night. I'm new at this. Young.
I said, Mom, you're not in the camera. She said, where am I? But I think you might like this, Mama. Yeah, I had that old one. I had an old one that was really good and seasoned. And it made good little crunchy cornbreads. And I still got it somewhere.
When we moved everything from your house, it's got...
And I've got little corn cobs. They are, and I've even got little a cast iron. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what it really is, but it looks like little bump pans connected together. 6 of them, I guess, for muffins or for little cakes. And I thought those may be good to make pineapple upside down cake in. Have little individual servings sometimes. Because you make pineapple upside down cake in an iron skillet if you want to. Can't you, Mom?
Oh, yeah. You make pineapple upside down cake in muffin pans or anything.
She sat up here a lot longer than I thought she would without rolling around.
Do what?
Nothing.
You talking about me?
Never. If it says... join, it's not John and Momma. Right, Virginia. If it says join, we only have follow. We don't do join. We're not, anybody can follow us. Those little group, if it says group or any of that stuff, it's not us. Join is not us. And there's never a charge on ours. If people choose to send stars or they choose to subscribe, That's just what they choose to do, but you don't have to. So that is what it is. Don't worry about it, because I'm not giving them that much power over me to worry about them. That's like negative comments and stuff. I try to get most of the trolls that we can. But if you're of the nature to make negative comments and just get on here, then there's an issue. There's a problem. And, most of the time I just try to pray for them. And maybe they'll hear something on here that'll lighten their hearts, lighten their souls. Or maybe a little bit of positive is what they need. So, some comments have to be deleted. Some people have to be removed that are saying things. Or if they argue with you all, I don't like that either. Because you can tell the troublemakers. But a lot of people hurt and they put out hurt. A lot of people are in pain and they put out pain. That don't necessarily mean at their core they're bad. And it don't necessarily mean that that's what they want to be. They may not want to be that negative person who's argumentative and saying negative things. So let's just show them how positive people act. Let's just show them how love can change a situation. Because really and truly, folks, we're here for just a minute. I don't care if you're 9 or 90. I don't care how old years you have. You're just here for just a moment. We're all here for a moment. And let's just make the best of it. Let's just love each other and respect each other. Follow the golden rule. Love one another. And we'll be a whole lot better off. And we'll be happier people. And everybody will be happier. Cornbread says it has 2 more minutes.
Reckon I better check her out.
Check it, Mama, and I'll come there and get it.
I don't care to get it. It ain't heavy as that.
What do you think, Mama? I'm getting nervous.
Well, it's not hardly brown enough.
Let's show them. So here's what we have so far in the little skillet. So we could use a little more browning. Does it look like it's stinking?
No, I think it's brown.
Mama's trying to...
I think you had it hot enough that
Mama's trying to be positive. I'm nervous with the new cornbread skillet. But it's just family, so if it don't come out good, you all will know, and we'll just reseason. If you have a cornbread skillet, what I recommend you do is put you some bacon grease in it, and every time you make a cake, bake brownies, anytime you use your oven, throw it in there. Let it get hot, let that oil, that fat get in there, and that's going to help season that skillet. And then use it. Now you don't want to, I know this sounds contradictory, but you can fry bacon and stuff in a skillet to season it, but once you get it seasoned, you want to use it just for your cornbread.
okay.
You don't.
Here's
Mama's.
Here's the little flitter cornbread. Hope it's brown on this side.
Oh, that's perfect, Mama.
I'm going to have to let it brown just a
Mama,
hair.
look at that cornbread. It looked great to me.
I like it a little browner on this side.
I thought it looked pretty. But you want to, once you get your cornbread skillet where you want it, you don't want to be cooking pork chops and stuff in it then. But you can use it for, for bacon and stuff like that to get it seasoned.
In here?
I did, ma'am. I did. At the beginning.
Okay.
Do you want more?
I don't know.
Now, Mom, you can't put too much pepper in it for me. I'm perfectly content with whatever you put in there. If you can handle it, I sure can, because I love pepper. Hi from Newport, Tennessee. Well, you're right up the road here. The skillet is good for individual cornbread. I like that one. Yes, Donald. It's crunchy. You get that outer crunch all the way around, and it does change things a lot. Love you and John and Momma. Well, we love you too, Debbie. We love all of our friends, and it's just a pleasure. It really is. Y'all don't realize what a blessing you all are to us. Did it get brown enough for you, Mama?
It kicked off, so I figured it was probably good.
I'm a little nervous.
You want a knife to get that out?
I don't know. Oh, look here, folks. It's coming right. I am so happy. That every piece is This was seasoned just right. Now, this was a new skillet, so I just seasoned it today. This one right here, man. Don't brag too soon, John. That big one ain't coming out so easy. Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, look at there. I'm going to leave them in there to keep them warm, but every one of them released. And I just seasoned this one up today. You can tell it's a newer skillet. But just seasoned it today, and what I done is we had some, the words won't come, bacon grease that we had saved, and I just put bacon grease in each one of them. Took my spoon, rubbed it up on the sides, and cooked it. And just put it in the oven with the biscuits Mama had. Then I left it in there for about another 15 minutes and let it cook. And then I turned it on again after it cooled down. Then I turned it on again. And then right before we got ready to use it, I turned it on again, left it for about 20 minutes. So we can use that one now. We know it's ready for cornbread, and we won't have to worry about it. Here's Mama's. See if it's brown enough now. And
it looks fairly well. I tore that out.
It looks perfect. It looks absolutely perfect. Look at that. Wonderful brown cornbread. The other side's even browner. Perfect little cornbread. For us not to have cornbread in the spell, Mama, we sure have done it tonight.
We're doing it tonight, aren't we?
Soup's done. Cornbread's done. Mama, I'm gonna
gonna set it over here.
I'll go get the soup.
I'll get it right now. It won't take a minute.
Independent is a hog on ice, as they say. If it's heavy, Mama, I will get it. There's a lot of soup in there.
This ain't nothing. What I used
This ain't nothing, she says.
what
every
I
time.
usually pick up. Used to have to pick up. I put it that way.
Look at that soup, folks. All those vegetables are good and tender. Look at that. Hearty, hearty, rich soup. Love it. Look at all those carrots. Mmm.
There you go, sir.
All right, man. We got our bowls. We've got everything we need. I've got coffee. Are you ready, ma'am? Something to
Make sure these stoves off.
Mama has fizzed around here all day today. Y'all know what that means. Just means
But I've been busy all day.
it just means she's been fizzy. She ain't settled down none. You know, like a Coca-Cola you pour it and it's fizzy. Mama stays fizzy. She stays always charged up and ready to go. And that's what she's been doing today. She has, I don't know what else she's done. She's been active though. Poor old Maggie has worn herself out following Mama today. When Mama's active, Maggie's active because Maggie's scared to death that Mama's going to do something, go somewhere, eat something that she ain't a part of. So she's right on her tail feathers at all times. Ain't she, Mama?
Yeah, yesterday she was terrible. She wouldn't let me take a step. I had to watch where I walked on account of her.
Was she better today? Did you wear her out?
I sat here and worked on Cookbook, so.
Oh, so you was working on Cookbooks today.
So she didn't. Thank you, sir.
Now we start out with a little bit because we went to school, and then we'll move on up to a little bit more. I'm gonna get this big one because he's just not uniformed. But look at that. That's what I'm talking about. And these little individual triangles, every piece has got crunch all the way around it. And that's what you want with soup. Mama, you want yours or you want a triangle?
I'll take a little triangle. It's already flipped up here.
All right. Let's bless it. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful meal. Dear Lord, we just pray for the nourishment in our bodies. Dear Lord, we just thank you for good vegetables and just being so kind to us, dear Lord, and loving us. And dear Lord, we just pray for each and every prayer request out there. Dear Lord, we pray for each and every person that's watching, dear Lord. And dear Lord, we just pray if there's people out there that has negativity, that you'll bring them to a kinder, gentler thought. In your wonderful, precious name, we pray and ask these things. And Lord, be with everyone who's facing storms and trials, whether it be physical or whether it be of their own making or whether it be something that's been put upon them. Dear Lord, be with each and every prayer request, those spoken and unspoken. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Mama. Here's the big test. See if this meat. Now that coffee. Why did I put 16 ounces of coffee? I said 16 ounces. I put a cup like this full, and this is not a little cup. I think it would be 16, at least with the Mama.
14 to 16.
Cover the bottom of your pan. If I have, cover the bottom of your pan, whatever you're putting your meat in, and that's what that did. So it worked out really good. But it tenderizes the meat. It doesn't make it taste like coffee, but it gives it a good flavor.
I don't know if you can taste it or not. It's a little hot.
Hot with what?
Heat hot.
Oh, yeah. You scared me, Mama.
It's hot.
I thought I was on the witness stand. I thought you were saying, I don't know if you can taste it, but you put some pepper in there somewhere. A jalapeno's been stuck in there. Nope.
It's just, I can't get enough in there to taste because it was too hot.
Mama, you need to drink more hot coffee.
Need to temper my tongue up till it can stand the hot.
Mama, that's delicious. It's not exactly a cold night here. It's 64 at 7:30. But boy, this will be good in the winter. This soup will be. Not this, but another pot.
We could freeze a bowl of it.
We could freeze a bunch of it, Mama, because we won't eat all that.
Here, I can't.
The soup is delicious. Let's try this little cornbread. Now, I love a good cornbread muffin, but I like the crunch of all of it better. Ah, that's just
it's
what
crunchy. You can hear me chew.
Just what I wanted. So, Mama, let's talk. So, when I say, Mama, can we have muffins tonight?
Oh.
Will you be willing to pull this pan out and make them in this instead of your muffin tins?
I might try it. I'm not making no promises.
Sometimes I'll say, oh, we're having soup. Can we do muffins tonight? Mama said, no, I ain't washing them pans now. Okay. And then sometimes she'll just surprise me and make them. I made you some muffins. Cornbread muffins. This would be easy. Let me show them this. Let's show y'all this. Where I took those two out. See how you can still see it shiny in there? That's where that bacon grease today cooked into that cast iron. And these, every one, pop right out. Just like that. No problem whatsoever. So that means it's good and seasoned. Cornbread will stick. Will stick bad, won't it, Mama?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't get that pan good and hot and you don't season it well. But that's a sign of a good seasoned pan. And so, I'm kind of excited to know that we've got us a new improved cornbread skillet for those times. We've got small ones, we got large ones, we got extra large ones. But the one that I had like this was not quite that deep. So your cornbread was a little bit smaller. And I want to say mine was a little bit smaller than that, but I'll have to find the old one and see. I might even make the corn sticks one time. And maybe even that other weird pan one time. I say one time, but that won't be a regular.
We might not find them.
I know where they are. I just have to get them out and make sure they're...
Excuse me.
Make sure they're in good shape. Folks, I'm going to recommend some good vegetable soup for y'all one day this week. That pan is so cool. It is neat, isn't it? And I've had this one a while, but when my friend mentioned it yesterday, she said, I'm making me in the little individual triangle. I said, I've got one of those. She said, I love it because it's so crunchy. I thought, I love good crunchy cornbread too, and I've not used mine, so thank you. Turned out perfect.
Got it just the right temperature so it was sizzling.
It's wonderful. Now, let's talk about the cornbread skillet after we get through here. As you can see, that's still hot. Cast iron stays hot a long time. As you can see, there's no batter in there. There's nothing. That's a crumb. That's not a batter. It is fairly clean. So when you hear people talk about, oh, don't wash your iron skillet, we won't wash this one. We will take a paper towel. We'll wipe every bit of that out. We'll make sure it's good and clean. We'll put it back in the oven. And if it looks dry, say next week, we'll put a little oil on it on a paper towel and re-wipe it, put it back in the oven. However, if this were an iron skillet that wasn't for cornbread and we made gravy in it, it would definitely get washed with soap and water in the sink. We would take it out, we would dry it good with a towel, and then we'd put it on the stove eye, turn that stove eye on high, and let it get good and hot until it completely dried out. We'd put it back in the oven and keep it that way. So when you hear the, don't wash your cast iron, they're not talking about everything all the time. They're talking about their bread skillets for cast iron. And maybe your egg skillet if you don't get anything on it and it's good and seasoned. But if it has food on it, you definitely want to wash it.
Oh, yeah.
And the soap we have today is milder. Back then they had lye soap and it took all the seasoning off every time they washed it. So they didn't wash them then. I don't know how they clean gravy. Maybe they didn't make gravy in them. I don't know. But when you hear people talk about you can't get soap on them, you can. Don't put them in the dishwasher though.
Huh.
But you can wash them. But we want this one. We want any of our cornbread skillets. I dare say our cornbread skillets have been washed in many years because we keep them clean and we wipe them out and we keep them hot and oiled up so there's no germs on them. They're, what is it? Is it autoclave or something they do for surgical? They're heated a lot and they're heated even before we pour anything in them. So that's when you hear the don't wash an iron skillet. If you fry bacon in or pork chops,
Wash it.
wash it. If you fry meat in it, wash it with soap and water. Just dry it good. That keeps it from rusting. I heard a horrible story this past week. This girl told me that her neighbor said she couldn't lift the cast iron anymore. That's sad enough. So she gave her all of her cast iron. She said it rusted.
Oh, wow.
And she said, I didn't know what to do with it, so I just gave it to the Goodwill. I said, you gave all that wonderful old cast. She said, yeah. She said, I had no idea. If it rusts, that doesn't hurt a thing. You can get that rust right off from there. That's just a property of the cast iron. You can get that rust off there with a Brillo pad, shine it up, re-season it, reuse it. You can take the rustiest old piece of and make it into a wonderful skillet. So don't ever get to the point where you think it's too rusty or too bad. Especially if you used it and you just got it in your cabinet, because it's good. It's real good, and it can be used and it can still have life.
Yeah.
And all of them will rust occasionally, even if you're using them often. If you don't put them on that stove iron and dry them inside out, you have to dry them out. So that's a little tip on cast iron. Anything you want to add, Mama?
No, you covered everything good.
My mama can make soup.
One thing about this, you'll end up eating more, I think, than cutting it off and
How come?
cause that crustiness around it. You
Oh.
like it better.
Because it's better. I've just eat this one piece, Mama. So far.
So far.
Those will store wonderfully. They won't dry out. That'd be great. Can't wait. All right, folks. That's all we have tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for enjoying a bowl of soup and some fresh, all crusty cornbread. It's so good. Mama, you see yourself in there?
Oh, right now I do. I'm over.
Oh, goodness.
I'm just not over.
I have a cast iron bundt pan, cake pan. That would be, I don't have one of those. A big one, I don't have one of those. That would be a treasure. Some old cast iron is very valuable. It is. There's some brands that are better than others in the older stuff, and if you're a collector, you know which ones of those they are. But you can turn about any of them into a good piece of cast iron. And we've got several pieces. It's hard for me to pass up a piece if I go out, unless it's just outrageously priced. I'm getting better at it, but if it's a reasonably priced product, then I'm going to probably get that cast iron, because you just can't beat cast iron. And another thing, some of y'all may not know, if you are anemic, cooking in cast iron does help your iron, and it don't hurt you to have that extra iron. So frying eggs in them, frying meat in them, it does absorb some of that iron ore in there, and it's good for you. So that's just another little medical tip.
I was going to tell you, I'm not a collector of cast iron. I'm a user.
Mama's a user. Now, folks, that's one thing that I have to say. If you want it seasoned and you want it to be good, use it, use it, use it. That's the best way. You say, oh, I've got this new piece of cast iron. I don't want to use it because I don't know. Use it. Get that cast iron out. Fry you some bacon in it. Fry your stuff in it. The more you use it, the slicker it'll get, the more seasoned it will become, and the better you'll love it. It'll get so good that you'll be able to fry eggs in it and they won't stick, or you'll be able to make cornbread in it and they won't stick. Use that cast iron. Mm-hmm. You got anything you want to add, Mama?
No.
Your baby is walking around and around.
I know what she's wanting, a snack or something.
She's wanting you, Mama.
Yeah, she's circling me. I feel like what?
She's
tied to the pole like I used to do. The Indians circling me.
She
I'm
is
the old westerns.
She is circling Mama for sure. John, say hi to your new followers. Well, hello, Tammy. Are you a new follower, Tammy? I love my cast iron. Tammy, welcome aboard, and all you new followers. It is a pleasure to have all of our new folks. It's a wonder. I recognize some of the folks that's been with us a long time, and y'all are just like family. But you don't have to serve any length of time on here to be family. If this is your first night, you're family to us, just like if someone who's been here the whole time. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you all. Thank you for the stars, and thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up and the smiley faces. You all really are a treasure to us, and we appreciate each and every one of you. But welcome to Coffee Time. And on Coffee Time, in case you're a newbie, it's not about coffee. I do drink coffee, and a lot of it, and I love it. It's more about the time. It's just a moment to step out of the negative world and step out into a positive, and just talk about cooking. Or we might talk about flowers, or it just doesn't tell. We just live. We do a lot of cooking on here, but we're not only a cooking show.
Oh, no.
But
we're a talking show.
We're a talking show. We're a talk show. We're not a cooking show. But that's what we do. Y'all know Mama don't talk much because she's bashful. But we appreciate y'all. Thank you for those hearts. Mama, you got anything else?
No, I'm thinking just eat and relax and go to bed a little bit. Get back up and start all over.
And enjoy another day.
Asked me to do that.
And enjoy another day. Mm-hmm. Ain't that wonderful?
Yeah.
All right, folks. We're going to say good night. We're going to say have a good one and sweet dreams, and be blessed tonight. Wake up in the morning with a whole new. We're waking blessing for the day. Y'all have a good one.
Good night, Mama, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.